Once upon a time, in a world painted with hues you and I have never seen, lived a little girl named Ellara. Her village was nestled in the Whispering Valley, a place where the wind sang melodies and the rivers hummed lullabies. But Ellara couldn't hear any of it. She was born into a world of silence, a quiet so profound that even her own laughter was a mystery to her. Her parents, who loved her more than all the stars in the twilight sky, tried everything. They brought her to the singing caves, where echoes danced for centuries. They took her to the summit of Mount Celis, where the sky gods were said to speak. But for Ellara, the world remained a silent film. Beautiful, but muted. She learned to read the stories on people's faces, to feel the rhythm of the world through the soles of her feet, and to speak with her hands in a language as graceful as a ballet. One day, a traveling merchant came to the valley, his cart laden with wonders from faraway lands. He told tales of a magical creature, the Lumina, a moth with wings woven from moonlight and starlight. Its song, he claimed, was not heard with the ears, but felt with the heart. It was a melody of pure emotion, a song that could mend broken spirits and, perhaps, even awaken a silent world. The Lumina, he said, appeared only once a generation, drawn to the purest of hearts. In the heart of the Shatterfen forest, hope, a feeling Ellara knew mostly from stories, began to flutter in her chest like a trapped bird. That night, she packed a small bag with bread, a water skin, and the worn-out map the merchant had drawn for a small coin. As her parents slept, she slipped out of her home, her small lantern casting a brave little circle of light against the encroaching darkness. The Shatterfen forest was not like the friendly woods around her village. The trees were ancient and gnarled, their branches like twisted fingers reaching for the sky. Strange, unseen creatures rustled in the undergrowth, and the air grew thick and heavy. For days, Ellara traveled, her initial bravery tested with every snap of a twig, every looming shadow. She navigated by the sun and stars, and by the strange, pulsating moss that the merchants said grew only on the path to the Luminous Grove. Loneliness became her constant companion. She would sit by her small fire at night, her hands still, with no one to talk to. She missed her parents' warm smiles and the familiar vibrations of her father's footsteps on the wooden floor. Tears would well up in her eyes. Silent tears for a silent world. She felt small and lost. A tiny, quiet speck in a vast, noisy universe she couldn't even hear. She almost turned back a dozen times, the fear and the silence pressing in on her. But then she would touch the map, feel the crispness of the paper, and remember the merchant's words. A song felt with the heart. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she stumbled into a clearing. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. The air was not heavy here. It was light and filled with a soft, ethereal glow. Giant, bioluminescent flowers pulsed with gentle light, and a crystal-clear stream gurgled, its surface shimmering. In the center of the clearing, on a bed of glowing moss, sat the Lumina. It was more beautiful than any story could describe. Its wings, as large as Ellara's two hands, shimmered with the light of 1,000 captured stars. Its antennae twitched, and it seemed to look right into her, not at her, but into her very soul. Ellara approached slowly, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She sat down before the creature, her hands folded in her lap. She didn't know what to do. Had he asked for a song from a creature of legend? She decided to simply tell her story. With her hands, she began to speak. She told the Lumina about her silent world, about the love of her parents, about the ache of loneliness, and the flicker of hope that brought her here. She spoke of the beauty she saw with her eyes, the color of a sunrise, the dance of a butterfly, and the deep longing to hear even a single note of the world's grand symphony. Her movements were not just signs. They were a dance of sorrow, of longing, of a courage she didn't know she possessed. As her story unfolded, the luminous wings began to tremble. A soft, warm light emanated from its body, growing brighter and brighter, enveloping Ellara in a gentle embrace. And then it happened. It wasn't a sound. There was no vibration in the air, no tremor in the ground. It was a feeling. A wave of pure warmth washed over her, the feeling of her mother's hug on a cold morning. Then came a cascade of sparkling joy, like the time she'd successfully flown a kite for the first time, watching it soar against the blue canvas of the sky. A deep, resonant hum of peace followed, the contentment of sitting by the fire with her father as he carved wooden animals. Sadness came too, but it was a gentle melancholy, like the beauty of a wilting flower, a reminder that all things change. It was a symphony of emotions, a melody woven from the very fabric of life, and Ellara felt it all, right in her heart. Tears streamed down her face, but these were not silent tears of sorrow. They were tears of overwhelming, breathtaking joy. She was hearing, not with her ears, but with her entire being. The luminous song was the language of the soul, and for the first time, Ellara felt truly, completely understood. The song faded, and the luminous light, soft. It gave a final, gentle pulse of its wings, a gesture of farewell, and then took flight, dissolving into a shower of stardust that drifted up into the night sky. Ellara sat in the clearing for a long time, the echo of the hot song still resonating within her. She placed a hand over her chest, feeling the steady, familiar beat of her own heart. It felt different now. Stronger. More vibrant. The journey home was different. The forests didn't seem as menacing. The shadows seemed less like monsters and more like resting places for the light. When she arrived back at her village, her parents rushed out to meet her, their faces a mixture of terror and relief. As her mother wrapped her in a fierce hug, Ellara felt it again, that pure, warm note of love she had felt from the luminous song. She looked at her father, who was trying to be strong, and she felt his deep, rumbling note of relief and pride. Ellara never gained her hearing in the way others knew it. The world of sound remained a mystery, but it no longer mattered. The Lumina had given her something far more precious. It had taught her that there are many ways to listen. She could now feel the cheerful song of a neighbor's greeting, the somber tune of a friend's sadness, the triumphant chorus of her village during a festival. Her world was no longer silent. It was filled with a music all its own, a symphony of emotions she could feel in her heart. Ellara, the girl who couldn't hear, had learned to listen to the most beautiful music of all, the song of life itself, and she spent the rest of her days sharing that music, not with sound, but with the radiant love and understanding that now shone from her forever changed heart. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more tales from worlds just beyond our own. Until next time.